Details on new proposed Oklahoma social studies standards. A judge orders a wind farm to be removed from Osage land. And the governor is ending the remote work option for state employees. That and more coming up on the KGOU AM News Brief for Friday, December 20th. I'm Nick Daniels. The Oklahoma State Department of Education released its new social studies standards yesterday. State Impact's Beth Wallace reports the guidelines feature a significant increase in content on Christianity and patriotism.
According to a news release from State Superintendent Ryan Walters, the new standards up the mentions of the Bible from 2 to more than 40. If they are adopted, students as young as first grade would be taught stories such as David and Goliath and Moses and the Ten Commandments. Walters said at Thursday's State Board of Education meeting, the new standards strengthen his administration's argument for Bibles in school classrooms.
I am proud that Oklahoma is taking the lead in putting President Trump's education agenda into practice. We are presenting a successful model that should be emulated by every state in the country on how to restore public education and eradicate radical woke influences on our schools.
The draft is now up for public comment until January 21st on the State Department's website. The board will vote on the standards at its February 27th meeting, then submit them to the legislature for approval. For State Impact, I'm Beth Wallace.
Thousands of Teamsters across the country are striking against Amazon, and workers in Oklahoma City have joined the picket line. Our own Hannah France reports.
On Thursday, the Teamsters Union launched a strike against Amazon at 7 delivery hubs across the country. The strike is in response to the company ignoring the union's calls to the bargaining table. In August, the National Labor Relations Board classified Amazon as a joint employer of subcontracted delivery drivers represented by the Teamsters Union. While the company did give subcontracted drivers a 7% pay raise in September, they have not engaged in contract negotiations with the union. In Oklahoma City, workers started solidarity picket lines at Amazon fulfillment centers on Thursday morning. I'm Hannah France.
After a 10-year court battle, a federal judge has ordered an energy company to remove a wind farm on Osage land and pay more than $4 million in damages and legal fees. Grayson Wheeler has details.
The company, Enel, leased land in 2010 to build 84 wind turbines. The lease covered 84,000 acres of surface area in Osage County, not the earth and minerals underneath. But the company blasted explosives to dig huge holes at the base of each turbine and used some of the excavated rocks as backfill. In 2013, the Osage Minerals Council sued, alongside the U.S. Attorney's Office. They say the excavation counts as mining, which requires a permit from the Osage Nation that the wind farm never applied for. This week, a judge ordered Enel to pay more than $250,000 in damages, plus $4 million in legal fees for the decade-long case. In addition, Enel must remove the wind farm and return the land to how it was pre-trespass by December 1, 2025. Enel estimates removal will cost more than $250 million. I'm Grayson Wheeler.
The Oklahoma Turnpike Authority recently approved toll increases set to take effect at the start of the year. Now, some state lawmakers are calling for greater oversight on how those toll hikes are decided. Democratic State Representative Annie Menz of Norman plans to file legislation requiring the OTA to get approval from the legislature before raising tolls. This comes after the agency's decision to increase tolls by an average of 15% and allow for inflation-based rate hikes every 2 years. Menz says she's working with House and Senate colleagues to draft the bill, which she believes has strong early support. Republican State Representative Gabe Woolley of Broken Arrow echoed similar sentiments about toll hikes, saying they should be subject to legislative approval to give citizens more say. A state lawmaker wants Oklahomans to get tax relief. Senate Democratic leader Julia Kurt has filed a pair of bills for the 2025 legislative session. Senate Bill 72 would modernize the state's sales tax relief credit. Kurt said this credit has not been adjusted since it first became law in 1990. Senate Bill 71 would, for the first time, provide a tax benefit to those who rent their home. Currently, only homeowners can deduct housing expenses. Governor Kevin Stitt says he wants state employees back in the office. The governor has issued an executive order requiring full-time state employees to return to in-office work by February 1st. In a news release, Stitt says the decision aims to ensure efficient government operations and greater accountability to taxpayers, going on to say that remote work accommodations are no longer deemed necessary. Now, exceptions may be granted for non-standard work hours, impractical in-office roles, or limited office space. Agencies must report exceptions and submit quarterly updates on workforce arrangements to the Office of Management and Enterprise Services. And a note, the next episode of the KGOU AM News Brief will be on Thursday, January 2nd. From all of us at KGOU, have a safe and happy holiday season.
We could all use a little help navigating the news these days. The Consider This podcast wants to give you a hand. 6 days a week, we'll help you make sense of the day's biggest news story and what it means for you in less than 15 minutes. Listen now to the Consider This podcast from NPR.